What does it mean to be shy? In episode 11 of the podcast, I shared my 3 biggest limitations as an introvert. One of these was social anxiety, which is closely related to shyness and a fear of judgment, but not exactly the same thing. When you're in the thick of mental, psychological, or maybe identity type issues, it's very hard to see the forest for the trees. You are struggling. Other people may see your struggles and think, why can't you just snap out of it? Like, can't you just stop being shy? Why are you so anxious all the time? Well, it's not always that easy. So for my outgoing, confident, and highly assertive friends listening, please be patient and listen to this till the end. It just might help someone you know and someone you love. So for me, it took many years to see what I was missing by letting fear, anxiety, and extreme shyness dictate what I did and how I did it. So in this episode, I want to break down shyness and talk about what it's costing you in opportunities, in confidence, in relationships, and fulfillment. Let's get into it. You're listening to the Driven Introvert podcast, the place to be for dreamers, doers, and entrepreneurs who are ready to birth the dreams, callings, and ideas the Lord has placed in their hearts. Do you sense that God is calling you to step out and do something new, but you're held back by fear and uncertainty? Do you struggle with believing that you can do great things because of your quiet, reserved, and introverted nature? Welcome here. I'm Remy Roy, your host and founder of shepacked.com. I'm an author, an entrepreneur, a creative, and a committed trier. I'm here to help you get unstuck and make progress on your God idea. Let's go. So since I was old enough to know what it meant and what it felt like, I'd always known that I was a shy person. I knew I didn't feel okay when I had to be around people I wasn't familiar with. I knew it was hard for me to be free, like physically free, like in my body with movement and expressions and in most social situations. Like if we had to play a game that required us to move around and play and interact freely, all of those things were very hard for me. I remember being in secondary school and my friends were playing lawn tennis and I looked at them with such envy. Most of them were boys, but my closest friend then, a girl, she played the game too. And I thought, what is wrong with me? Why can't I be free and confident in my body? So what was wrong was that I was too self-conscious. I was always preoccupied with myself in a most negative way. My self-esteem was low and I feared judgment and rejection. I always thought in the back of my mind that people were looking at me and thinking how odd, how awkward, maybe not beautiful, and not interesting or not intelligent I was. This may seem quite extreme to my more confident and outgoing friends, but please stick with me. Someone you know or love might be going through this and you could actually help them. So, what is shyness? I did just a little research and found some interesting and straightforward definitions. Shyness is the tendency to feel awkward, worried, or tense during social encounters, especially with unfamiliar people. Shyness is a feeling of fear or discomfort when being around other people, especially in new situations or among strangers. Shyness is often linked to low self-esteem, which checks out. It may also be one of the causes of social anxiety. So these definitions are from the American Psychological Association and from Healthline. So I think it's important to note that people experience shyness to varying degrees. Some people are shy in certain situations, but not in others. For example, you could find yourself feeling shy when you have to perform certain tasks around people you are unfamiliar with. Say, if you think you're not a good singer and everyone is taking turns singing their favorite song, you might feel shy when it gets to your turn, right? That's normal. People are more likely to feel shy when they're not sure how to act, don't know how others will react, or when attention is on them. People are less likely to feel shy in situations where they know what to expect. You feel sure of what you want to do and what you want to say, so it doesn't feel out of place. Or whenever you're among people that you already know, that you're familiar with. But if you find, like I did, that you're shy in almost all situations when you're faced with a new environment or social opportunities, and maybe it stops you from being productive in that environment, then it'll be helpful to really examine the root of that. All right, so we're talking about what shyness is costing you. But first, how does it manifest? Let's talk about how shyness manifests in everyday life. So when you prefer not to engage in social situations because you feel awkward and apprehensive, you avoid situations entirely sometimes because you want to avoid the discomfort of meeting new people, having to talk, having to do things. You don't like that. Or you prefer to keep quiet instead of speaking up, even though you do have something to say. That's shyness. That's how it manifests. Maybe you're constantly judging yourself by other people's standards, and of course you fall short. You think that others are constantly evaluating you poorly, and all of these prevent you from improving your social skills. So this is what shyness can do. This is what it can rob you of, right? So is it harmless? What's the big deal if you're shy? What's the big deal if I'm shy? Well, in all of these definitions and explanations I've explained, you can probably already tell that there are real consequences to being extremely shy. So let's talk about what shyness is costing you. To keep things simple, I've broken these down into 4 categories. Number 1, shyness costs you opportunities for growth and new experiences. Think about this. What's the difference between the first day on your job and your second anniversary on that same job? It's simple. It's experience. It's time. You've had time to try things out, make mistakes, learn, grow, and challenge yourself. You shadow someone else, you lead, all of that. It's the same with every area of your life. The more you do, the more you learn. The flip side is also true. You don't do stuff, you shy away from opportunities to show up and use your skills, and guess what? You don't grow. You stay stagnant. You don't grow as a speaker if you always run away from being in the spotlight. You don't grow your social skills if you don't say yes to being out and about with people. I remember years ago as a child, I would watch the girls who signed up for the extracurricular stuff at school, and I wished I could do it. I grew up in Nigeria, and one big thing was cultural dances. It's this fun thing where you dress up depending on what region of the country you were from, or maybe you were representing, and you do the traditional dance. Many girls loved it. I did too. I loved it, except I was too shy, and I always said no. I didn't have any positive memory of that period because I never did any of the dances, even though I wanted to. So think about it. What growth experiences are you missing out on by letting shyness and fear stop you from trying new things? Could you be a better public speaker if you only tried a little more? Go listen to my episode with Nicole Smithy on how introverts can become powerful public speakers. So many gems there to help you on your journey if you're really into that. Or could you have more friends if you faced your fears and showed yourself more friendly to others? Or could you be a star player at work if you created a game plan for networking more and be more visible at work? I know, you probably don't like the sound of that. I don't like it too. I don't like the idea of networking. Like, your work should be enough, right? I get it. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, it's probably not enough. So yes, shyness is costing you opportunities for growth and new experiences. All right, number 2. Shyness costs you the chance to build confidence. Confidence is built over time, right? We all have mental chatter in our minds that, if allowed and empowered, will keep us from being the confident people we have the potential to be. I say this to say that no one is born with all the confidence they will ever need to face every situation in life. No one. Confidence is built over time and experience. Yes, people have personalities that may be deemed more naturally confident or bold or out there, but trust me, everyone has to work on their own mental toughness. The more you do step out and take a chance, the more confident, the more assertive, the more "I got this" energy you feel. It's just the way it is. Oprah did not have 2024 Oprah confidence way back in 1972 when she worked as a part-time news anchor. It's taken years of experience, growth, failures, successes, all that to build more and more confidence. Amy Porterfield did not have the assertiveness she has today. Way back when she quit working for Tony Robbins and started her business, she didn't have that. It's a step-by-step process. The more you submit to the process, the more you learn and be more confident. So if you're not able to do that, you're letting shyness rob you of the opportunity to build confidence. All right, number 3. Shyness costs you meaningful relationships. Think about it. Do you have that one friend or that one connection you made that is such a crucial part of your life now that you can't imagine not having them? I really do believe that certain relationships are ordained, like very carefully orchestrated by God. If you've heard of the term destiny helpers, you probably understand what I'm talking about. Now, these relationships are pivotal to our journey in life. So imagine if you didn't take that step. You didn't go to that place. You didn't make that decision to sign up for that thing or whatever it is you did that brought that relationship to life for you. That's what can happen when we let fear and specifically the overwhelming feeling of shyness stop us from taking and making vital connections. And they don't even have to be relationships where you feel like you're getting something from the other person. Sometimes just the feeling of rightness or gratitude for having someone in your life. Think of David and Jonathan. That friendship that we point to in the Bible that was so pure and so genuine that generations after these men were benefiting from it. Imagine if David was too shy to play his harp for King Saul, or too shy to step up and face Goliath and do this big life-altering thing. He may not have met Jonathan. Relationships are crucial to how we move in life. Are you letting shyness rob you of crucial ones? My family has been really blessed with some amazing friendships and relationships over the years, and I'm just thankful when I think of them. A few years ago at our child's dedication at church, we sat beside a couple who were also dedicating their baby that day, and when we sat down, I said hi, and usually that'd be it, right? In the past, I just let this moment go because, hey, I don't know what to say or I'm shy, and what if they're not enthusiastic about my greeting? Now I'm going to feel silly or whatever. But these days, I just go for it. So I turned to her and I told her my name. I asked for hers, her son's name and all that good stuff. And would you know, we lived in the same area, which really wasn't a given, that would be the case because we attended church that's a little bit farther away from our home. And I am thankful that we made that connection because today, when we have lunch together or our kids go together to the park or we drive to another city to see the sights or whatever, I am thankful for a godly family to do life with and for our children to play together and grow up together. And I'm sure glad that shyness did not rob me of that opportunity. So think about that. What meaningful relationships are you missing out on by letting fear dictate how you move through life? All right, number 4. Shyness costs you a sense of fulfillment. What does fulfillment mean? When you think of fulfillment, what comes to mind? The feeling of being content, achievement, reaching a goal. I love the dictionary definition of being fulfilled. It says the feeling of happiness or satisfaction, or a feeling that one's abilities and talents are being fully used. That hit the spot for me. Who doesn't want to feel that way? That your abilities, your skills, and your talents are being fully utilized. This is what we all want, to feel like a round peg in a round hole. Sometimes it's very easy to chase the things we think we want because of what we see around us and what other people are doing. But deep down, we want to feel like we're in the right place, doing the right things that's actually going to move us forward. But for those of us who might be a little reticent to try new things, to do new things, to step out of our comfort zone, think of what that posture, that mindset is costing you. The feeling of being a round peg and a round hole, of being who you are really meant to be. The feeling of fulfillment, feeling happiness and satisfaction because you're using all of your skills, all of your talents, and you're not holding yourself back. That feeling is possible and empowering and exciting. And I want that for you and your people. I've said this before on this podcast, and I guess I'm going to keep saying it. Introversion is not the same as shyness. Shyness is distinct from introversion. Introverts feel energized by time alone. Shy people often want to connect with other people, but don't know how to, or cannot tolerate the anxiety and fear of a negative judgment that comes with human interaction. So not all introverts are shy. Now, some introverts are shy, and I used to be a lot that. I'm an introvert, but I'm also shy. But obviously, I am working through these feelings, and that's why I'm here talking about it to encourage you too. However, if you're listening and you identify with some of the feelings I've expressed here today, or maybe you know a child, a friend, or someone in your life who struggles with being shy, I hope you share this with them. All right, so let's talk about why I think this is a worthy topic to address. This is about transformation. For the person who hears this and feels empowered, or maybe you feel a fire in your belly because you want to be what God has already said you can be, and you're done. Like you're done letting fear and shyness and anxiety hold you back. This is the transformation that's possible. Listen to this.
The transformation from being shy and afraid to becoming assertive and confident can be an extremely profound transition or transformation. In Proverbs 31:25, it says, "She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come." And this particular verse highlights the potential for women to be able to embody that strength and confidence. And the goal is just to really reassure them that their identity in Christ is what is going to ultimately equip them to be able to face challenges. And this sort of transformation often truly involves us recognizing our own inherent worth as a child of God. And then when we as women are able to embrace our identity in Christ, it is at that point that we begin to shed those insecurities and those fears. So for instance, like in the story of Esther in the Bible, she's a powerful example of that. Initially, Esther was hesitant about her role because the goal was for her to advocate for her people. However, through prayer and guidance, she gained courage enough to approach King Xerxes, which demonstrated that God can ultimately empower us to step into our purpose repeatedly, despite what our fears may be. So, for example, even me, there's a point in my life where I wasn't sure if my voice held any weight or if it was valuable at all. And so a lot of times I would tend to shy away, and just kind of fade into the background. And even though deep down I knew that, I was really smart and I could do all these things and I had all of this knowledge to offer, because I was fearful of how others would receive it or if they would even respect it or even care about it. And it crippled me so much that I just didn't say anything at all. And now, through the grace of God and just constant prayer and just realizing the woman that He has created me to be, I am now in a position where I say whatever it is that's on my heart, and I seek opportunities to speak and share this gift that God has given me. And so ultimately, that transformation from being shy and afraid to becoming assertive and confident, it is an up and down journey. But with the Lord on our side, it's something that could definitely be done.
Now, that was Jenniphs Ricks. She is the CEO and founder of JL Consulting. Jennifer is passionate about her mission to guide women to liberation through education, leadership, and empowerment. Thanks so much, Jennifer, for your contribution to this conversation, and we'll hear more from Jennifer in an upcoming episode. So let's do a quick recap. Here's what shyness, fear of judgment, being unable to let go of the fear of what people will think and how they will assess you, here's what it's costing you: the opportunity for growth and new experiences, the ability to build confidence, meaningful relationships, and a sense of fulfillment. I love that Jay gave us a peek into what the next level of this conversation will be, the transformation that's actually possible. How do you move forward when you're ready to be done with limitation? We're going to talk about that in an upcoming episode, so stick with me. All right, so I'm curious, does any of these connect with you on any level at all? Do you consider yourself a shy person, generally shy, or maybe only shy in certain situations? Or maybe you have a child, a friend who fits this description. I hope this episode helps you to unlock a desire to be all that you know you can be. I'd love to hear your perspective. Send me an email at thedrivenintrovert@shepark.com. Also, I have a quick favor to ask you. If you've ever gotten any value from this podcast, or if this episode encouraged you, please leave us a 5-star rating. And if you're feeling really generous, a review in your podcast app will be great. It takes just a couple of seconds, but it really goes a long way in helping us share more encouragement and purpose strategies to driven introverts out there. So once again, if you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating and a brief review on what you took from this episode. I'll be very, very grateful. Talk soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy this conversation, please take a moment to follow or subscribe to the podcast. I'd also love your feedback on this episode. You can scroll down on your app and click write a review. I'd love to read your takeaways from this conversation. As always, don't forget to take courage, trust God, and go pursue your big ideas. See you next time. The Driven Introvert is produced by shepack.com and Remy Roy, with support from Candice Zakaria and Aishat Olarewaju. Want to ask a question or share a comment on a future episode? Click on the link in the show notes to record your question in a voicemail.